Gentlemen, so good to see you. Thanks so much for your time.
What an absolute pleasure. Love Pop Alternative.
Hell yeah.
Josh, good to see you, man, as always. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, bro.
Chris, season 2's always interests me from a viewer perspective because clean slate for season 1. We've never seen these characters before. You've never played this character before. What's the vibe like going into season 2? Do you understand this character? Are you learning more? Are you more comfortable? I'm curious about that.
It's been fun watching him evolve into somebody who, when we meet him, feels very contented or is fooling himself that he's contented, and watching all of that kind of fade away. And now we're seeing the consequences of the mindset change. And in season 2, that kind of plays out where all of the seeds that have been planted after the Morpho machine are now sprouting. Some of them are weeds and some of them may be fruitful, but that's what I suppose the season will show us.
Absolutely. Yeah, there were so many questions that I had, and season 2 answers some of them, but maybe there's more to learn, which is really awesome. Josh, I did want to ask you this kind of concept of reading these characters in a script and then seeing them come to life on the screen. What's that like from you from an acting perspective? You can answer this with Big Door Prize. Like, what does that experience and journey look like for you, reading it and then actually going and filming it? Because 2 separate journeys in a lot of ways.
So true, man. I think it's a fun game to read a character and try to figure out what the writer meant, and then you figure out what you can do with it. So with Giorgio, I think he reads one way, especially when I first read him. It was that scene. The first scene I read was us at that dinner, at his birthday dinner. And in that one scene, I poke a little fun, and you could read that as he's being mean, but I didn't see it that way. I thought that just means that he loves him so much, and he loves Cass so much that he's comfortable enough to play a little bit. That's part of every actor's journey. When you read the character, when you read it on the page, you got to figure out what this actually means when you're playing it. And then when you're out there, you're just having fun, and you do all your stuff, and then you just try to be there with your partners.
Absolutely, that's well said. And last question, Chris. I know each kind of journey and, project are separate and it's really on to the next, but, you were in 2 of my favorite films of all time, Bridesmaids and St. Vincent. And I kind of wanted to tell you that specifically with the Big Door Prize, what they have in common is they're funny, but they're very deep and hit hard and self-reflection and everything. And I'm curious if you bring things from those projects to something like the Big Door Prize, or are they separate in that way?
Good question.
I feel like you don't necessarily bring information that you've gathered from one to the other, but that base of the things that you're curious about, which is the reason that you end up in those projects, I suppose, maintains its consistency, where you're obviously looking for something deep in the human soul that you can, for me, explore through comedy, which is kind of fun. I think all of those things touch on that.
Yeah, no, that's well said.
I think you learn from the people, though. God, all of those projects. I mean, there's just working with Melissa and Bill Murray and Kristen. I mean, these are just some of the most talented people alive.
But they also got to work with you too, man. I'm just saying.
God, they were forced into it.
Yeah, I just want to say, season 2 of the Big Door Prize on Apple TV Plus. It was an honor and privilege to speak with both of you. Thank you so much for your time.
Bless you, Popternative.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.